Episode 5 The Calling. Mora watches the dream that she is on mountains looked a grave on which wake up is written suddenly 2 men caught and drag her to room she screams that I am not mad. They tied her and inject her something. Mora wakes up by wake up call Daniel was sitting beside her. Mora asked about the boy. Captain stopped her by seeing the boy. Captain asked Mora again about her name on Prometheus passenger list. Franz and his men are talking about to take over the control of ship and to take the ship to America. Iben motivates everyone to fight. Tova and Krester talked about Ada and Iben's speech. Clemence and Lucian are talking about their past in their room. Oleg asked Captain about next step. Suddenly Tova appeared. Boy kept on banging the cabinet. A man shot a fire on Mora, but Daniel jumps in. Time stopped. Mora touched the bullet and changes its direction. Cabinet is still banging and Mora rescues the boy. She asked boy about her identity and triangle. He took Mora with her in time resumes. Alarms on the ship rang loud. Mora and little boy comes in gallery. Everyone sees them but they kept on walking. Captain fight with Daniel but Tova interfere between them and sound of watch tick-tock hears and many get hypnotized walked towards upper deck. They jumped into the water. Mora asked little boy about that sound. He wrote they are listening on a paper and whispered Mora that he can't tell her what was happening. You should ask the creator. Franz and Captain come in front. Everybody walked about the current situation. They tried to stop everyone but they can't. Daniel left the hall and ran. Little boy went into the shaft and placed his insect there. He goes behind insect. Mora also followed the little boy. At the end of passage there was land. She stepped on the land, looked the grave. She ran toward the grave. Daniel also jumps in the shaft and followed the passage. He scolded boy for bringing Mora with her. They both talked about stopping everything. Romero runs into Angel room. Jerome comes to Selman's room and takes the gun from Lucian. He asked Clemens to tie him. Jerome also ties Clemens and himself. Everybody tied themselves in their room. Crew member received more messages to sink the ship. Daniel went to stem pressure and fix it. A trimmer hits Daniel and tried to stop him. They both had a fight but Daniel changes the machine by remote. Mora went into a castle. She opened a door and meets her father. She talked with her father about her brother. 2 people tied her on chair and her father injects him something. She again hears the wake up and she was on her bed looking the shaft. She rants to Captain. She told Captain about boy's triangle. They both talked about Mora past. Mora told her about her father Henry Singleton and her father craziness, talked about envelopes that she received from her brother, and about the missing Prometheus. She saw his insect on her table and grabbed it. She ran towards the shaft. Captain also helped him. They both went into the shaft. Insect opens the secret passage. They both went into the passage and landed in a jungle. They hears the sound of Captain's daughter song and ran towards it. It was Captain house. They went in the house. Everything was destroyed. Sebastian comes to control tower and crew member showed him the message. Sebastian kills the crew member by his remote and takes his body to a side. Captain and Mora returned and talked about the situation and Mora's past. Captain told Mora hat list was signed by him but he didn't remembered. Daniel keeps trying to run the steam pressure by his device and everything stopped. Survival comes on the upper deck. Sebastian showed the message again to Captain. Daniel also arrived and told that he think it was for them not for Prometheus. In office a worker showed Henry a message from the ship and he replied that they don't have more time, bring the boy to them. He opens his window. There was a pyramid.